Jalen Brunson is a basketball wizard. It's like he plays 7 inches taller than he really is. It's like he plays hide and seek with defenders, always keeping the rock on a string. And why can't anyone block his shot, even with him standing at 6'1"? It's like he found a secret recipe for the perfect angle on his layups. He possesses unbelievable talent. Despite his greatness, everyone only focuses on his weaknesses. And no one expected him to be this damn good. But what makes Jalen Brunson's game so innovative in today's NBA? What happened in his childhood that made him a current star? And how is his team benefiting from his greatness? The New York Knicks have put their faith in one man, and that man's name is Jalen Brunson. With the recent addition of scrappy forwards like OG Anunoby and having a plethora of trade assets that they will be aggressive with in the trade market this season, it's clear that the Knicks want a run for the championship. But is Jalen Brunson really too small to lead a team to that prestigious championship? Can a guy like Jalen Brunson end the 50-year championship drought in the Big Apple? And what player throughout NBA history most resembles Jalen Brunson? Spoiler alert, it's not who you think. Stay until the end of the video to find out. One of the standout qualities of Jalen Brunson's game is his impeccable decision-making. Whether orchestrating plays as a point guard or creating opportunities for himself, Brunson navigates the court with the poise of a seasoned veteran. He's a shifty player who can go into his sweet spots with relative ease. He's got a deep bag to make up for his lack of physical tools. At 6'1", Brunson has maximized his skills to be a multi-dimensional scorer. And for the Knicks, that's what they certainly need. The New York Knicks have a lot of great scorers wearing the orange and blue uniform. But there's just something missing in those players: the winning mentality. Ever since Jalen Brunson started playing ball, he was just a winner. Brunson was a beast in high school, leading his team, Stevenson, to its first ever state basketball title. He even won Illinois Mr. Basketball. Coming off of high school, Jalen Brunson was hailed as a 5-star recruit and committed himself to the Villanova Wildcats. And in college, it was the same story. Brunson was just born a winner. In his 3 seasons with the Wildcats, he won the NCAA title twice, leading the team in his junior season with 19 points per game ahead of his teammates Mikal Bridges and Dante DiVincenzo. Basketball was always running through Jalen Brunson's veins, especially when your dad is Rick Brunson. Many of you might not know who Rick Brunson is, but he played 9 seasons in the NBA. And after his career in basketball, he went on and continued his career as a coach, being an assistant coach for the Denver Nuggets, Chicago Bulls, Charlotte Bobcats, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. As Brunson continued to shine on the college stage, individual accolades began to pour in. In his junior year, he secured the prestigious Naismith College Player of the Year award, cementing his status as one of the premier talents in college basketball. This accolade wasn't just a recognition of his scoring ability, but a celebration of his all-around impact on the game. After 3 seasons in college, Brunson decided to declare himself for the 2018 NBA Draft. Surely a player who led his team into an NCAA championship should be a lottery pick, right? No, not for Jalen Brunson. Even in college, Brunson was scrutinized in 2 aspects: his height and his defense. At 6'1", Brunson was heavily doubted entering the NBA. Then, come draft day, the expected draft picks went into the top 5, then to the lottery, and then there was no sign of Jalen Brunson in the first round. The guy who led his team to an NCAA championship was left out. No one wants to take a gamble on the small guy. Then, with the 33rd pick of the draft, the Dallas Mavericks took the gamble and drafted Jalen Brunson, whom many considered the steal of the draft. But for Brunson, it was hard to compete for playing time when you are an inexperienced 6'1" guard that could be a liability to a team's defense. Your offensive skill set needs to match that in order to have an advantage on the floor. And Jalen Brunson learned it the hard way. In his first 2 seasons with the Dallas Mavericks, Brunson averaged a meager 20 minutes per game and averaged only 8.5 points per game. But Brunson showed a glimpse of what's to come, shooting with high efficiency and making the right decisions. And in his 3rd season, he started to flourish. With more playing time under his sleeve, he effectively supported Dallas's centerpiece, Luka Doncic, complementing him with the scoring the Mavericks desperately needed. Every single time Brunson was on the court, he was getting better, shooting a monstrous 40% from beyond the arc and shooting 52% from the field. That's a solid number for a guard. In his 4th season with the Mavs, Brunson had become the Robin to Luka's Batman, delivering an efficient 16 points per game and helping the Mavs reach their first Western Conference Finals berth in more than a decade. At 25, the entire league acknowledged Brunson's potential to become a future star alongside Luka. But with Brunson's rookie contract expiring, it was time to seal his future. And one team has dived into the Brunson sweepstakes and offered him straight away a lucrative contract he can't decline. A 4-year, $104 million contract with his hometown team, the New York Knicks. 4 years ago, it was the Dallas Mavericks who took the gamble. This time, it was the Knicks who gambled on the small guy. Many basketball fans were interested in how Jalen Brunson would perform as the first option, as the one who is at the top of the opponent's scouting report. And Jalen Brunson did not just deliver. He conquered the Big Apple. He won the hearts of all the fans in New York. He was also surrounded by players who complemented his game really well. In his first year, he averaged 24 points per game and a career-high 42% from the three-point line. Not to mention his 6 assists per game too, which was the highest ever since he came into the league. His offense was off the charts as he led the Knicks to 2 straight NBA playoff appearances. Jalen's Knicks run was legendary. It was almost certain that the Knicks had found them a superstar. The New York Knicks are hungry for that title. The Big Apple is accustomed to winning. They are a very passionate city in every sport. Many basketball fans are calling the Madison Square Garden the Mecca of basketball. But how can you call it the Mecca if the trophy has not been there since 1973? So, New York Knicks GM Scott Perry decided to pull the trigger and traded RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley for scrappy forward OG Anunoby. With many debating who won this trade, it's clear that the Knicks got ahead of this one. The Knicks don't need any more scorers. They don't need someone who holds the ball a lot. They decided to fully depend their future on their centerpiece, Jalen Brunson, and surrounded him with scrappy players that fully represent New York culture. With this fresh New York Knicks squad, they might have a real chance of gunning for that Eastern Conference title, with Jalen Brunson at its core. But with doubts surrounding the play style of Jalen Brunson, can he really carry a team into a title? Let's bank on history and statistics. Based on craftednba.com, a site for all the NBA geeks out there, you would be surprised at what players in the past have played the same game as Jalen Brunson, at least stat-wise. If we're talking only about Jalen's strength and his offense, his game was most similar to the current Devin Booker, who had almost the same shot creation, but the second most similar to Jalen's offense would surprise you. 2006, Kobe Bryant. The same season, he dropped 81 points to the Raptors. According to Crafted NBA's data, Jalen Brunson and 2006 Kobe Bryant had almost the same shot quality, had the same offensive load, which basically shows how impactful they are on the offensive side, and also had the same box creation, which shows how these players create and find open teammates. These two also had the same portability, which was an estimation of how these two players will perform with every other team in the NBA. But of course, Jalen's game was not very similar to 2006 Kobe's, especially on the defensive side of the floor where Kobe still dominated. So, considering both the offensive and defensive stats, which player really suits Jalen Brunson's game at the age of 27? Care to take any guesses? Well, it's the Kings legend, Mike Bibby. When it comes to shot quality, their relative true shooting percentage, their efficiency, and what is lacking on the defensive side, not to mention their size, Bibby stands at 6 feet 2. Mike Bibby is also a ferocious guard who did not let his height stop him from firing from all cylinders. And that's what Jalen Brunson has been doing in the Madison Square Garden right now, getting on his spots with ease, driving with such confidence, and shooting the lights out. But the ultimate question lingers. Can the small guy, Jalen Brunson, win it all? Can a 6'1" guard in New York lead his team to that elusive title? Let's make history speak for itself. In the history of the NBA, there are only 2 players who are 6 feet 3 and below who led their team to that coveted trophy: Stephen Curry and Isaiah Thomas. For now, he is not on par with Stephen Curry and Isaiah Thomas yet, but as a guy of 27 years of age, there's a lot of time left to prove himself and overcome the struggle in the Big Apple. But Brunson has a lot of work to do to jump over that hurdle. He needs to play like one of the greats to lead the Knicks to that title. Can the small guy in New York do it? Let us know down in the comments. Subscribe to my channel for weekly videos, and as always, thank you for watching.